梶裕貴です。今回はステートオブプレイの特別編として日本やアジア初のゲームにスポットを当ててお届けします。大人気シリーズの最新作から
This is the setup we have right now. If you're hearing the stream audio twice, there's nothing I can do about that. My headset decided now's a good day not to work anymore. So
we made a promise
that
to
is what
solve
it is.
The world's mysteries, didn't we?
Crazy.
I know I'd regret missing out on the fun far more than any bother we might get ourselves into. I haven't thought about it really. I should try doing all the things that humans do.
Weird though that they would have
to find my own purpose, something only I can do.
Did he prevail?
Sounds fine. Oh,
Rule
okay.
over this realm.
That's cool then. Well, see, I don't know how it's coming across to you guys. Maybe my microphone setup is automatically not playing the audio twice or something. I don't know. Hold on though. I gotta link this to everyone. I spent so much time making the thumbnail and everything. It'd be a real shame if
This is the stuff. You and me battling side by side again.
couldn't stream it. Do we want the chat? I don't need the chat. We don't need their
There's
commenting.
no time to waste. Here's to one last adventure.
Alright, so hey, if anybody out there is looking for a broken headset, which I'm probably going to be hurling at my wall after the stream, they can have it. Yeah, they have no idea they're being watched.
そして再構築されたシナリオには大人になったキーファが
Kiefer!
どのような物語が待ち受けているのかお楽しみに。さて、続いて
It's also interesting that they went with a voice actor to host.
発売時期の発表で
I
す。
suppose maybe voice actors are more respected in Japan. Here's a story about this lady and her coffee machine or noodle machine or whatever, tea machine. Yes. Hey them! Nice to be here with all my people. Even though I sent the blip out so late. Has everyone seen the face reveal? You can go on Twitter and search for that if you want. I hope there's something about Neo 3. There might be. You know, people have wild dreams about Final Fantasy Remake Part 3, Final Fantasy 4 Remake. A lot of crazy things people are wishing for. We know Bloodborne's coming. Hey, Titan Slayer, Kai Warden, Skeptical Bucket Man, Koga Renau, Xavier, everybody's here. Yeah, but yeah, we all know. We all really just came here for Bloodborne. We all know this. This is talked about in the in the recesses of this state of play. Japan. You looked so youthful. I'm 30. I'm old now. Uh-oh. Guys, something went terribly wrong with the stream. Everything's pink and cold. Huh? Pressing social issues? Huh?
1作目はブロークンロアアンフォロー SNS の暗い影に焦点を当てた
Jack 4 is coming for real this time. I know Jack 4 is coming, and I know they are announcing it in the Japanese state of play. This is known. I don't need to know. To me, Acer is a pixelated Link clone with white hair. I'll look like that soon enough. I think I'm gonna go gray soon, which is gonna be a fun development. I'll look so old and tired, and I am so old and tired already. Like it's a match. Soon the outside will match the inside. You're younger than me. Yeah. Alexander conquered the known world at 23. But I made the Silent Hill commentary at 22, so it's like, you know, legacy. I probably could have conquered the known world at 22, at 23 if I had wanted it, but I wanted to talk about video games. I think it was impertinent that people knew about my affinity for crates in Crash Bandicoot and Ratchet and Clank. What did Alexander know about crates? Hey, Team Ninja! Hey! Hey, Team Ninja, baby.
And a place that must never be seen. If I could capture it with the camera obscura.
Oh! Fatal Frame.
Hurry, leave the village.
These Japanese girl horror games, these protagonists get daintier and daintier with every generation. Oh, this is the remake they were talking about, isn't it? I think we saw this in the last State of Play, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe it was a Summer Game Fest. What if the real Bloodborne 2 is Neo 3? Impossible. It is not possible.
Festival failed. It's all because
We ran away. I'm getting Snails Have Skeleton vibes from this trailer.
Fatal Frame 2. Crimson Butterfly.
What is with all of these legacy horror franchises and starting their remakes at number 2? Resident Evil did it, Silent Hill did it, and now Fatal Frame's doing it. But Resident Evil already did Resident Evil 1 remake. They couldn't have remade that again. People had been waiting for Resident Evil 2 remake because of Resident Evil 1 remake, and they just made them wait for 10 years, and then they did Resident Evil 2 remake, and now all these companies are like, yeah, remakes, but we'll start at the second one. 待望の挙手状プレイステーション。
これらを拝見して恐ろしさが
These are friendly, warm, and inviting voices. If they'd have had me doing this, it'd be like, yeah, so what is Fatal Frame, man? With me with my nasally Borat voice. Why is there English voice acting in this Japanese State of Play? Because the Japanese only play dub. No, they also play sub, but to them sub is watching it with English and Japanese subtitles. They're like, they have memes on the Japanese Twitter, which is like, everybody talks about Japanese voice acting better than English voice acting, but here's what English voice acting versus Japanese, and it's like when we dub Breaking Bad in English with like Funimation dub, but they do the same thing. We're a lot alike in that, you know? I'd like to play some of these kinds of games sometimes, but I feel like they would be too stressful. No, Fatal Frame I think is very inviting. The first games always suck, obviously. Nah, man, like Fatal Frame. Fatal Frame is cool. It is a remake, which is not as cool, but, Fatal Frame is cool. Linguistic imperialism. Yeah, it's from that game they were talking about that addresses social issues. I was about to correct you for that, but people really forgot that RE1 has already been remade. Yeah. On that note, I wonder, since if Kamiya is back at Capcom, maybe people will see Devil May Cry 1 remake. Ooh. Would they get Kamiya? Who was the guy who did the 3rd, 4th, and 5th one? Because I feel like he's kind of become the steward of the series, and... Wait, no, didn't they throw him out?
It was during what I
remember.
believed would be my final battle that you appeared before me.
Oh, it's, Dynasty Warriors. You can tell by the dynasties and the warriors.
Fellow sons of the Yellow Earth.
Itsuno, yeah. Did Itsuno not work on the second one as well? Itsuno did Dragon's Dogma. I've been playing Dragon's Dogma. I got like 20 hours in before deciding, you know what? I respect Dragon's Dogma. I don't like Dragon's Dogma. It's not for me. It's a good game, It's very forward-thinking, very experimental. I respect a hell of a lot about that game. It's not for me. We have a respectful relationship. It's a mutually respectful relationship. Hideaki Itsuno. I don't want DMC1 remade because they 100% should make it more like DMC3. Not thrown out to my knowledge, he just wants to make more dragons. Oh, I dislike Devil May Cry 3 Dante. Yeah, so this is actually a Devil May Cry thing where people conflate over, people argue about like, because Devil May Cry 1 Dante and Devil May Cry 3 Dante, it's kind of like, people talk about like Flanderization, where he just sort of becomes a meme of himself, which I think is kind of true. Kazunori Yamauchi. No one knows who did Devil May Cry 2, the director took his name off. Really? No, it's not. It was Itsuno, wasn't it? Wasn't it Itsuno and he was like deeply embarrassed and then he had to redeem himself?
パワーパックはリアルレーシングです。でその中には例えば24時間レースみたいな。
Check this out. Since I've become a boomer, since I've turned 30, check this out.
まあ一度はグランツーリスモでやってみたかったので、今回パワーパックを作りました。パワーパックも3と同時にこの年末にリリースされます。であともう一つは12月の20日ですね。福岡で
Devil May Cry 1 Dante needs to be depressed and sad. He can be funny too, though. Yeah, Devil May Cry 1 Dante kind of is like the dude from The Big Lebowski. He's just kind of more etchy, a bit more mopey, I feel. Is this true? Am I maybe just talking shit? I don't know. It's been like 8 years since I played Devil May Cry 1, and I've only played it the one time, so. Although I don't remember if I beat Mundus at the end. I was playing the remaster, and I think one of his... I think his like lava tower attacks turn invisible in the remaster or something. Or maybe I just sucked ass at it. I don't remember. Maybe I... You know what? Maybe I did beat him. I have vague recollections of doing a flying mission at the end. Devil May Cry 3 didn't do a great job explaining why Dante got all quiet and sad in 1. Oh right, it's a prequel. Devil May Cry 1 Dante was cool and knew when to be serious. What's the cutscenes? And when you come back, say hello to my son, won't ya?
プレイヤーの選択によって変わる20種類のエンディング、戦略もアクションも楽しめる2種類の戦闘モード、そして新たに日本人キャストによる日本語フルボイスを実装。あなたと共にあるなら。
You know what I didn't like about Devil May Cry 5 is the character swaps. Any game which is really heavy on you sort of building a character and mastering the mechanics, whether it be like buying weapons in Ratchet & Clank. They did a protagonist swap in Ratchet & Clank, the Rift Apart one. I don't like that. Any game that has like really deep mechanics like that, or has you build a character. I think the Spider-Man game did this too. And then they have you change to a character, and it's like, but I've been building the other one. Like, why are you making me swap? I think protagonist swaps can be interesting in video games, just storytelling-wise. But I think that you have to sort of juggle that with me having become attached to this character, and now you're making me play as this other character. Excuse me. Man, there's a lot of games I don't. These games are not for me. These games are for the Japanese. The Japanese people love cars. If you've ever been to Tokyo, you'll know that this is a city designed for the car. Devil May Cry 1 in the HD collection is missing a lot of visual effects because it's not running with the PS2 and motion engine. That's why we get hard to see invisible attacks like Mundus' heatwave things. Yes. Hey, okay, so maybe we'll get into PlayStation 2 emulation for a bit, because I know some technical stuff. But I want to see what he's announcing next. If it's something that I don't care for, we'll go into it. Night Rain? Night Rain? You know, I kind of like Katamari. This is a franchise I've never played, but I love this idea. So we'll let this play before I start talking about PlayStation 2 emulation. Look at the little cool people. It's rolling up everything. Oh! Pac-Man and Sonic together at last. Oh, that's right. Bandai is the Pac-Man company. Pac-Man. I feel like they need to make like Pac-Man. I feel like it's a sort of mascot that they bailed on, you know. Okay, now I'm talking Digimon. So we'll talk about PlayStation 2 emulation. So PlayStation 2 emulation is really interesting because the PlayStation 2 itself, if you want to play PlayStation 1 games on the PlayStation 2, you can. And when they were building the PlayStation 2, they had like a lot of problems getting this to work, because how are we going to emulate the PlayStation 1 within the limited processing capacities of the PlayStation 2? And what they did was they just built the PlayStation 1 inside of the PlayStation 2, and they reconfigured all of its component pieces to other tasks. But once you put PlayStation 1 CD-ROM in, all of those different pieces can just sort of readopt and become a PlayStation 1 again. So like, I think the graphics processor or something like that is used by the PlayStation 2 to read controller inputs, and it's like it's all that sort of stuff where it's like, oh yeah, we use the PlayStation 1 as like these periphery systems of the PlayStation 2, and then we can just wrap it around again and have it play PlayStation 1 games. Interesting stuff. Attention, hunters. Huh. Monster Hunter Wilds. There was that new Pac-Man Metroid game. You know what I think the problem with Pac-Man is? He doesn't have a personality. You know, Sonic, he gotta go fast. Mario, he gotta be friendly. He gotta be like a guy. And Kirby, you know, he's a friendly kind of guy. What's Pac-Man about? He's married? You know, is he a wife guy? I think that should be Mario. I think that should be Pac-Man's thing. He's like, I love my wife. My wife's a great gal. You can see I'm obviously failing at this riff while we watch even more Sonic Racing. They keep trying to shove these Sonic Racing games down my throat. I don't want this, man. The big O. Sonic Racing. Hey, SpongeBob. Is he big in Japan? He eats coins. He does eat coins. He eats ghosts. They could do a Pac-Man's mansion, like Luigi's mansion. And he's like hunting ghosts. That's kind of Hollow Knight-esque. Just like the lighting. Nevergrave. Chad, am I wrong in saying Hollow Knight-like? But it's got like an anime waifu girl, so... Oh hey, it has like a different gimmick though. You can take control of enemies. Like Crash Bandicoot. Crash of the Titans and Mind Over Mutant. Two games which I think are underrated. Like, I didn't like them. Looking back for that PlayStation 2 mascot platformer video that's like 3 hours long, and I've only sort of half finished the script for. I should get back to that. When I was doing that video, I looked back at those games and I was like, no, you know what? These games are not great, but they're interesting. Waifu. Mario Odyssey. Oh Lord, Xavier, you've responded to something I said, but you have forgotten that I've become a boomer in my old age, and I don't remember what I said that this may be in response to. This is a classic blunder by you viewers. This means it is automatically a list on 9 out of 10. Hey, do you think they'll do like an anime waifu version of Snails Have Skeletons? Or do you think my game will crash and burn? And which one do you think would be worse? To crash and burn or become or have like the anime waifu derivatives come?
レーザー攻撃を繰り出していた巨大なゴーレムは最初のダンジョン遺跡のボスです。本作のボスはそれぞれ独自の攻撃パターンや特殊なギミックを持っていて、一筋縄ではいかないようになっています。例えば植物のボスは風を使ったり、ドラゴンのボスは
I seem to rely more on 3D graphics than I recall Silksong, than I recall Hollow Knight doing. HUD also I feel is a bit more busy. This seems kind of familiar. Like, yeah, this seems like just, you want more Hollow Knight? We made more Hollow Knight, but you can play as an anime girl. Nevergrave. Lots of waifus being shown here. Where's Loki? You were saying games where you control enemies. Oh yeah. In this game you place your hat on enemies to possess them. That's true, Mario Odyssey. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. Bloodborne, Code Vein, Hollow Knight, whatever this is. In order to save our world, we still need more information. Man, her breasts are animating just independently of the rest of her body. Did you guys see that? It's crazy. It's crazy that women's bodies actually work like that. Also in real life, I hear. If my Japanese animes are anything to go by. Waifus have skeletons? Do they? I don't think, you know what, I don't think you can get an anime waifu derivative of my game because it's so, because like the pixel art style doesn't lend itself to waifus. There are no pixel art waifus, people, I regret to inform you.
Brave Blue Entropy Effect X は完全新作ストーリー。そしてシリーズ
Also, who is this guy, this voice actor? Who he is? Who this guy?
さて、どんどん行きましょう。続いて冒険心をくすぐるラインナップを
Alright, Chad.
ご紹介です。呪われた魔王
Today is the day. Hi, Hibachi. Hibachi. Everyone in chat knows we're gonna get Bloodborne. If you're bringing anti-Bloodborne energy, I don't want you. Are you a believer? Are you a blood leaver with us? I don't know, I don't speak weep. Oh no.
マシンガンやショットガンなど展開の武器を使って攻撃しましょう。魔王が赤ん坊を背負いながら戦い、その絆が深まっていく物語も大きな見どころです。子連れ魔王の壮大な冒険の幕が上がります。デーモン&ベイビーはプレイステーション5とプレイステーション4で2026年初旬発売です。
Bad news? You believe? That's good. Kokorino. Coco. Oh, my eyes have gotten so bad because I've gotten so old and lame. Bad news? I'm a blader, I believe. And look, if we don't get Bloodborne, if we don't get Bloodborne remaster, I'll know one of you poisoned it by not believing. We all have to believe. If you don't believe, you're the reason it's not gonna happen. And the rest of us are gonna hang out after chat, and we're gonna specifically talk about you. It'll be like a struggle session where we just go over how much you didn't believe. Is there a transliteration of Bloodborne in Japanese? Oh, Bloodborne, I think. I genuinely think that's just what it's called. I don't think they have a. I don't think it has a Japanese name. That's not me having doing a racist voice. I saw a print. A print? This game reminds me of something. I can't put my finger on it though. Bloodborne. Yeah, that sounds right. Also, you know, if I ever say anything offensive vis-a-vis the Japanese, I love the Japanese people. Assume Loki fed me bad information and give him shit instead. You know, I'm just so gullible. Octopath Traveler Zero. Instagram translates Shadow of the Colossus as Wanda and the giant statues. Really? I hate that name. That name sucks. Shadow of the Colossus is like... Maybe it's just because we've become used to that name, but it's so like... It's an elegant name. It's a powerful, elegant name. Chat, we have 2 sets of subtitles subtitling the same song. What's going on here?
You're finally awake.
If you can best me in battle,
again, 2 sets of subtitles. What are we doing?
Scarlet flame blaze bright and cleanse this sacred land.
You know, I don't think I like this 3D pixel art style. I think I used to like it. I don't think I like it anymore.
The riches of the world are mine. Why, I'll even give you this dirty little town you so love to do with as you please.
And the fear it induces is the only thing that can control people.
Hey chat, it's that game what has anime visuals and disembodied English voices speaking nonsense in British accents. There's one every showcase. There is a $1 billion industry of games marketed with anime visuals and British accents speaking nonsense. We like these games? Oh, we like Octopath Traveler? Look, I'm not a hater, I'm just saying I think the style conflicts to my eyes. But you also have to remember I'm an old man now and my eyes suck ass. How could Loki do this to Acer? Unbelievable. I laugh every time Gen Design posts. The first 3 hours of the game, chat. There was actually a time, like a decade or so ago, a bit over a decade ago. Oh, well, actually, kind of like exactly a decade ago, exactly 10 years ago, to this very day, plus maybe 3 weeks or something, where I used to work in a convenience store, and I would bring my 3DS with me to kill time, and I had like the Majora's Mask 3DS, the special edition one, and I'd play Majora's Mask. But I'd also play a bunch of demos for like Smash and Fire Emblem Awakening. And I would try to milk those as long as, because the way those demos works is that you can like open up the software X many times. So I would try to never close the software because I didn't want to pay for the games. And yeah, I had like I had like 9 more goes of Smash Bros and like 12 more goes of Fire Emblem Awakening or something.
大きなテーマとして掲げています。その新しいマーベル、日米のカルチャーが融合したマーベルというのをファンの方にぜひ楽しんでいただきたいなと。
This is some kind of Marvel
こ
video
れは
game.
続報がますます楽しみですね。
はい、で今回ですね、プレイステーション5にて第2回目のクローズドベータを実施させていただきます。12月の第1週の週末を予定しておりまして、第1回 CBT クローズドベータテストのキャラクターに加えてスパイダーマンとゴーストライダーがプレイアブルとなっております。
Spider-Man, I imagine, has like insane Japanese appeal. For some reason, I feel like, you know, you have like Kamen Rider and you have Ultraman. I feel like Spider-Man just slots right in. Probably because like Kamen Rider and like the Seinen heroes, they're all like little weird bug people. Or maybe Ultraman is a bug people. I don't remember. Oof. Captain America, they're doing you dirty. The X-Mansion. Professor X. Hey, apparently, Patrick Stewart's back in the new Avengers, and it sucked so hard that he's quit acting. He's filmed his scene and he was like, I'm never acting again, I hate this. Oof. Oof. He did like 3 seasons of Picard and he was like, nah, you know what? It's Professor X. I can't keep doing this. He's called Ghost Rider, but I've never seen him ride a ghost. Oh. That's a good one.
さすがよく気づきましたね。
It's like I'm watching a 40-year-old man pretend to be like a soft-spoken 16-year-old twink impressed by the X-Mansion. He's also dressed like he's back so they can kill his character for the 10th time. Logan, you have to go back in time to protect the future. Logan, it's for the future. This is the dumbest joke ever. I just love it.
キャラクター2にゴーストライダーがいるので、そのキャラクターを誰にするのかというところで、かなり悩みがありました。今回ですね、ロビー・レイヤー採用させていただいたわけです。
Professor X sounds like such a good acting gig though, because you could just sit in a chair all day. You wouldn't have to do anything. You just have to like, you would have to shave your head. I don't think I could manage.
若い方のゴーストライダーを出したいというちょっと事情がありまして、描きたかったっていう事情がありまして、今回はジョニー・ブレイズではなくてロビーの方にを選んだということです。
Robbie Reyes instead of Johnny Blaze. As a Marvel fan myself, and as somebody involved in the Marvel universe as a voice actor, I'm really looking forward to seeing how this work unfolds.
それでは最後に世界中のファンの皆さんに向けてメッセージをお願いします。
このゲーム、皆さんのお力をもとに
This guy has like, he has very similar hair to how the original Lego Harry Potter had. Also his head shape is kind of like a Lego man. So he's, you know, he has the glasses. So he's like, he looks a lot like Lego Harry Potter.
本日は素敵なお話を聞かせて
I will Google this and prove it.
ありがとうございました。
Lego Harry Potter. No! He's off screen. Alright, so like, it's kind of like this. His hair is like not on him correctly. It's supposed to be even on both sides, but like he was kind of looking like this guy. Obviously. Oh well.
We must bring an end to it ourselves. trust this Dreadlord.
Oh! Hey, it's Night Rain. I was Harry Potter posting over Night Rain, chat. Hey, Xavier, they're adding Estelle. We're gonna be able to fight Estelle. Xavier, they're adding Estelle to Night Rain.
The aftermath of the long night.
Oh, it's after the long night. They adding Dancing Beast.
Must be fate to work
And,
again.
ooh, sexy Valkyrie women. Artorias! He here, gang. Everyone's here. The Forsaken Hollows. December! Oh my god, Xavier! Oh my god, it's happening! Oh my god! Adding Estelle is a downgrade? What do you mean? My one complaint of Elden Ring Night Rain was that there was no Estelle, and now we're getting Estelle.
PS5 の5周年という節目に改めて PS5 の体験をご説明するとともに
This guy kind of looks like the Japanese Sean Layton.
PS5 の体験といえば DualSense ワイヤレスコントローラー
They have like Sean Layton's not in charge anymore, but it'd be funny if they have like here's the white Sean Layton, here's the Japanese Sean Layton, and they're like they share management
これまでにない
duties.
感覚でお楽しみいただけます技術的にはアダプティブトリガーとハプティックフィードバックそして内蔵スピーカーによって目で見る情報
Shame it's a multiplayer
耳から
game.
聞く情報手で感じる情報の3つが調
It was
整されて生み
Cloud.
出される体験です
It's Aerith and
そして
Barrett.
PS5 は目を見張るような綺麗な映像
Can't play. Wait to play. We're gonna play. Have to play Night Rain, baby.
ネットワークを通じて進化し続ける体験プレイステーションアップ
It's okay, guys. Someone must have made a mistake and then someone confused Bloodborne with Night Rain. No, one of you didn't believe. And I want you to fess up in chat right now. No one is allowed to leave until somebody fesses up. You all have to stay here. You can't go home to class. I'm not gonna let you do your homework and you can't be on your phone. You have to stay here until someone fesses up. I don't like Elden Ring or its expansion, the worst FromSoft game for me. Oh, that sucks. That must really suck for you then, how much that sort of become From Software's identity for the past couple of years. With both Elden Ring and the DLC plus Night Rain now, and its own expansion. But yeah, like, hopefully their next game releases soon and people can stop commenting on Twitter about how FromSoft has fallen off because they haven't made a new IP for you. And I'm not accusing you of this, but I have people on Twitter who are like, FromSoft fell off. They made one game I didn't like. I was like, man, you know, there's a lot to falling off, you know? Okay, so this is some super cheap PlayStation that only the Japanese people get for some reason. I think... Like, what?
PS5 そして素晴らしいゲームをお楽しみいただきたいと思っております
Hey, why don't we go back to Night Rain for a sec, since I was posting Harry Potter pics over it. The Night Rain. Is that a... Hold on. Is that a site of grace? Interesting, interesting. Castle looks a bit different. That's cool. More towers. That's cool. But it's the same tower, this one and this one. And maybe this one. Interesting. I will analyze that. Elden Ring Night Rain. Okay. I suspected as much, that it might be, that this might have had something to do with Elden Ring Night Rain. I suspected as much. Here's the red fire guys Mesmer hanging out with. Some sort of archer. I won't be playing as him. Here's some sort of invisible silk sheet weaving woman whom I won't be playing as either. And some sort of magic man. Ah, now hold on. I might just give this character a go. He seems interesting. I like his greatsword. There's some Griffith-looking guy. I won't be playing as him.
Curse this Dreglord.
Ooh, looking like maybe Eternal Cities in the background. I gotta say, their world generator is getting very powerful. Oh, also like nonsense dream trees that they always have. This probably is the giant tree guy what appeared at the end of the game, but he's got a jaw now. What do we make of that, chat? Okay, so this is the guy, and he jumps. Oh, he flies. This is a guy with a book. Probably won't be playing as either one of these, frankly. Here is the dog, what from Night Rain did Descent, but now he's on the overworld for some reason. It's very interesting. I wonder if that means we might encounter him on the overworld in some capacity. Maybe as a boss, or maybe not. There's the dancing beast, what I spake of already, and there's like a weird birdman hovering above him. I don't know much about that. Probably won't play that character. Okay, so kind of got distracted last time. Ooh.
Suppose it must be fate.
Yeah, it must be fate, baby.
Work again.
And of course, Artorias. Wait! Is that the Wilder? No. It couldn't be. Who is he stabbing there? It could be the Wilder. No, I think it is someone else. And this, I think, is... We had gotten this leak of Midir reskinned as like a dragon that doesn't have any skin. This might be that. Certainly it's something shouting and crap is coming out of the ground. Interesting. The Forsaken Hollows. So which tells me that the theme of the DLC will be some hollows who were forsaken by someone or something. December 4th. 12/4. 48. 4/8 equals 12. 1 plus 2 equals 3. There might be 3 DLCs coming our way, chat. The clues are all there. Wow. He does look like Sean Layden. Like he has like he looks a lot like Sean Layden. Am I crazy? They added a Gladius invasion. Why can't you play as Potboy? That's interesting. Not playing with female characters. Shaking my head. Yeah, I do it. I do it because I can see myself only in the Wilder. All these other characters have gimmicks. I like the Wilder. He doesn't have a gimmick. He has a sword. Lost Soul Arts of Demon Souls. Hold on, everybody's been chatting a lot. Kind of glad over gameplay. Alright, let's go back to making small games. Yeah, I can kind of see that. I don't want a new IP. I want a proper sequel to Dark Souls that isn't 2. I mean, they only made one half as big. They should make more Armored Core. Armored Core 6 was an absolute baller. They should make more Armored Core. I'd be okay if Yamamura wanted to do another Armored Core. In the same universe or in a new universe. Doesn't matter to me. There was a bit of the Lost Arts of Demon Souls in what you said and to what I say, yeah. Oh yeah, Matthew Matos's video. I don't levy that criticism is Bloodborne or Sekiro because they're completely different souls. Elden Ring is too similar for the player, but the enemies all feel like Bloodborne and Sekiro. You heard the correct title. It's been a while since I saw Mass with. Everybody's talking about Matthew Matos's video. But what about my video where I talked about the crates of Ratchet and Clank? Is that not a good video? Yeah. Can't play as Pop Boy. Yeah. Gladius, Jar Warrior 2 OP. Night Rain uses too many base Elden Ring bosses for me to replay it a lot. I'm expecting Night Rain for this. His gimmick is that he is basic and gets a Death Defy. Yeah, I love the Death Defy. Everybody's like, oh, Aster, you never die. Whenever I play Elden Ring, I never die. I'm never downed. But the trick is, I always almost die. But the Death Defy tricks my teammates into thinking I'm just that good. Write comments faster so it takes him more time to catch up. You guys, it's too late. It's too late. You had your time and you squandered it. What I have noticed, however, is that I specifically demanded somebody fessed up about not believing in Bloodborne, and none of you has. So it's possible that the person who didn't believe is pretending to be a believer. And if there's anything worse than not believing, it is not believing but pretending you believe. Yeah, Xavier, I'm always getting everybody up. I want to see FromSoft make another pure horror game. Yeah, totally. I think that. See, there is something that can happen to a company. This has happened to Microsoft, and it happened to Google, and it's happened to Apple, where you land on a product that makes you so much money that you sort of become immunized from having to make good products again. Like, Google did the search engine, and they, like, everything that's good about Google is stuff that they bought. They don't make anything good in-house, and they haven't for like 20 years. Microsoft does not make any good products anymore. All of their products suck, and they're getting worse. And what products they do get that don't, like, whenever they try an internal initiative, same with Apple, same with Google, every one of their new initiatives always fails. Apple's new products, they're always failures. Like that headset that I said sucked ass and was never going to take off. And everyone was like, actually, it's Apple. It's going to be super popular. And I was like, no, man, it looks like dog shit. Nobody wants to use this. And I was right. So, like, their new products always suck because they make so much money that they don't have to make good products anymore. And they sort of just become incapable of making good decisions because they just become like this sort of tax farm from just continuing to collect rent on products that did work. And this also happens to video game companies that get too successful, like Bethesda. Bethesda used to make interesting games. They don't make interesting games anymore because, you know, everything they make makes money. So there's no, like, they're kind of lacking that stress test of needing to be innovative. And I don't think that has happened to From Software. Elden Ring made a shit ton of money. They can do whatever they want. And they've decided, you know, we're going to do these network games, these sort of live service games in Night Rain and the Duskbloods. And people are like, oh, this is it. They're sold out. They've fallen off. And I'm like, look, Shadow of the Erdtree just dropped, okay? And like, let's you have to see them fail at a game before you can say they fell off. It is okay for them to be like, we're going to make a lot of money, and now we want to make these live service games, you know, and then we're going to go back to doing our bread and butter. I don't mind that. I still fully expect them to continue to make quality games. I don't think they've fallen off. I don't think they've succeeded into destruction like happens to a lot of companies. But I agree with you. I do kind of want them to do something different. Like, do a horror game. Do a smaller game that's a horror game, you know? Google engineers wrote the Transformer paper that kickstarted AI. Yeah, and, like, it sucks ass. What are you talking about? But yeah, you know, actually, maybe I'm being a bit broad with this. It's more just like whenever they have an internal initiative, it always kind of fails. And like Google is not at the front edge of AI. It's like the Chinese, and it's the XAI team, and it's OpenAI. And you know, probably OpenAI will go bankrupt because like, you know, you have Google and you have Microsoft and you have the X team, and they have like billions of dollars behind them in like actual liquid cash, which the ChatGPT guys don't have. And look, yeah, like some products, like the Apple AirPods, those were successful. I did not believe in that when I saw it. I was like, oh, so people are just gonna stick this disgusting AirPod into their ear. It's going to collect earwax and be disgusting, and they're going to put it in a box, which is disgusting, and they're going to carry around this disgusting plastic box full of their own earwax around with them. That's disgusting. And it is disgusting, but, you know, people apparently don't mind doing that, even though it is disgusting. Why is it when Microsoft does something that's actually good, the people who made it get shit on for it? Bethesda made one good game called Morrowind. No, like Daggerfall, and look, Fallout 3 is a good game. Even Skyrim, like looking back at it, I'm not saying Skyrim's like a masterpiece for the ages. Skyrim did a lot for like console open world games, and you know, is it as deep as other games? No, not necessarily, but like there's a craftsmanship there that, and even in like Fallout 4, like it's not that there's nothing good about their games anymore. It's more just that, you know, Todd Howard is a very talented man, but there are maybe 1,000 men in the world who have the talent to command an organization of like 500 people. And Todd Howard is not one of those people. Like those guys who know how to do that, they get $1 billion in salary, because that's actually like one of the most valuable skills you can have. And these nerds who grew up making video games, just shocker, don't have that skill. But you know, they do have the appetite and the ambition. So the games get bigger, but the budget is not represented in the sort of creative aspect of the games. It's more just visuals and stuff like that. Scope. Can't do another open world game. I would like for them. Yeah, Elden Ring 2 feels inevitable. I would like for them to do another open world game, because I think Shadow of the Erdtree sort of vindicated that pivot. I think that open world is so much more interesting than base game Elden Ring, and I would love to see them, now that they have like an open world game under their belt, do another one. And like maybe ditch the Elden Ring fundamentals and, you know, build a game around your open world instead of building your open world around the game that you already have. And maybe like not a gigantic open world, but like open world exploration, I think actually was really good in Shadow of the Erdtree, and I would like to see them explore that a bit more. Just joined. Did we get Bloodborne yet? Slender. The showcase is over. It's been over for 15 minutes. We're just talking about companies we hate. But no, we didn't get Bloodborne. Somebody didn't believe, and they don't want to fess up. OpenAI ain't going bankrupt, and if it does, it'll get bailed out by the government. See, people say that. I don't think it will be. I don't think that... And look, you know, governments do stupid things all the time. But why would you bail out OpenAI when you have, like, you know, OpenAI is not necessary for AI research. Every single team member there can just join the other US-based AI teams that don't need bailouts. It just feels like, politically, you're asking for like $100 billion bailout that does not need to occur, that is incredibly unpopular, and that, like, as much political capital as the OpenAI team is trying to push into getting that bailout, their competitors might just look at that and be like, hey, we can push that capital into ensuring they don't get the bailout, and we can just destroy Sam Altman's platform. Like, Elon Musk still probably has some friendly connections with Trump. Apparently they made up. And you just think about that and it's like, Elon Musk financed OpenAI back when it was open, like an open source project, and Sam Altman kind of screwed him. Now Elon Musk is in a position to screw Sam Altman. Is he vindictive enough to do that? Like, I don't know, maybe, this is a potentially $1 trillion industry that he can just snuff this guy out of. Plus, he has, apparently he's made up with the president. So it's like, I don't know. I don't think it's inevitable that they get bailed out. But, people are ambitious and you have a clash of egos. You don't know. I don't know. Those engineers had no idea what AI would turn into. They just engineered something that obviously has been immensely influential across the entire globe. Yeah, true. Scream if you love RPGs that are greater than the sum of their parts. It's kind of true. AI devs do know the flow of the river, not what its droplet entails. Shadow of the Earth Tree was much better than from a world design standpoint. Yeah. I think, and I would love to see them take that blueprint, because like I said, I think it sort of vindicated the open world pivot for Elden Ring that they did that. I think Shadow of the Earth Tree it's to me, I think this is on par with like Bloodborne and Dark Souls, as like, this is the best this company can produce. Like, this is at the absolute tippy toe S tier of FromSoft design. Bubble bursting is worse for all the companies in the US AI wars. Would OpenAI go down, be the bubble bursting? Like, I don't know. I feel like if they need a bailout, they can just, if all the other companies try and sort of pivot the US government into not bailing them out, then they can just they can just swallow up all of their assets. And like, if Apple wants an AI team, they could just be like, hey, okay, we have $3 trillion in liquid cash to invest in. Here's to all the OpenAI investors. Here's like $100 billion package. You all get the hell out now. We're taking over this entire enterprise. And Sam Altman, you have an option right now. You can be an Apple employee or you can get lost. And we're just going to hijack your project. And also, you probably have a non-competition clause, which means you can't do anything in this field for the next 5 years with any other industry. And that means you're going to be pushed so far behind that you'll never be able to start up again. Or you can take a paycheck from Apple. It's like, because Apple doesn't have a good AI team, they kind of screwed the ball on that one. And they could just, maybe they just buy up OpenAI. There's play on the field. There's things in motion. But also, I think that the AI bubble probably will pop before these sorts of strategic moves happen, because there's so many people gambling so much on this technology, and I don't know. I have not been thoroughly impressed with the technology since it sort of originally came out. I've noticed the updates, but like the updates, it's always weird little marginal stuff. I feel like with the initial wave, like the initial release, it's like, oh my god, this is incredible. And every single update since has just been like, oh, this is very incremental and very niche. And also the functionalities are sort of breaking down especially with all the lawsuits coming in, where they're like, yeah, we're not gonna, it's like, draw me a picture of this person in this person's style. And now OpenAI, ChatGPT is like, Nah, I don't want to do that. That we don't do that here. But yeah, you know, who knows? And like, it's still not crossed like the uncanny valley thing. It's still like you can produce like a 5-second video that looks sort of realistic, but it's still sort of, you know, I don't know. I don't think we have the innovation to make that final jump. So this was actually, I went, before I did that discussion with Chris Crawford, I'd been studying up on AI a lot. And look, honestly, I haven't looked at AI that much since then, and there have been some developments. It's been almost a year, and there's been developments, which I'm not privy to. But I was looking at it from the perspective of, what if you wanted to do interactive storytelling with the systems of an immersive sim? The idea being, I wanted to model characters with the game so that player behavior can be read by the game and narrative can be extrapolated from that behavior, which makes sense. And the issue I stumbled into is that I needed to program a system that was able to read context. And I thought about ways of doing this. One of them would be like, okay, if I can see the player's input, I can reasonably read what is happening. Like if the player's crouching and walking slowly, maybe it's a horror sequence. You know, maybe he's scared, maybe he's like a bit stressed, and then I can have every single object and every single instance of every object enter player is stressed mode. And then I could play around the player being stressed. But maybe the player is just crouching and walking slowly because he's dicking around. And there was no way for me to decipher which was which. Teaching a computer to reach context might be impossible. And the AI route of just brute forcing 100 trillion, quadrillion, billion, infinite algorithms to sort of brute force yes, no, until it sort of gobbles up some code that just sort of kind of is sometimes often able to, but not perfectly, intuit things correctly. That's not good enough for anything that matters. And so I experimented with using this technology, AI technology, for interactive storytelling, and it sort of works, but it also doesn't quite work because the interactivity, you could probably get it to work if the AI was, programmed around it, but as it has been released, it's too affirming of whatever you put into it. So if you're like, and that's kind of like not what you want from a story. You don't want to sit down in a story, like even in an interactive story, you don't want to sit there and just be like, a man walks into a cave, what happens next? And then if the AI does something you don't like, you can just go no. But you kind of, like, a story is supposed to teach you something about being human. And because the AI doesn't know anything about being human, it can only sort of feed you things that you then have to think about whether or not they make sense. Kind of just word spaghetti vomited out of me there, but it's incredible technology, obviously, but the people who are most optimistic about AI are people who know absolutely nothing about how this technology works and are just sort of like grifters online. And they're people who are making hundreds of millions of dollars in the AI market. And neither one of these people has, like, both of them are sort of poisoned. One by knowing nothing and one by having too much money invested in this succeeding. So just institutionally, skepticism is not practiced correctly. And whenever you have a market that is this high on, like, not cope, but just like blind optimism from people who don't know anything about what they're talking about and people who need this to work in order to, get the payout that they're waiting for, the information signal has been poisoned. So there will be a bursting of the bubble, even if the technology sticks around. Like, same thing happened with the internet. You know, people knew nothing about this, and people had leveraged themselves so hard on this being the next big thing. Bubble burst, but you know, the tech stuck around, and eventually it sort of became something. Don't know if that makes sense. I think the bubble burst is more concerning the circular network of investments, which OpenAI is the central player in. Yeah. And like the entire financial system is sort of built upon this model of, well, you know, this next technology is gonna increase productivity and increase efficiency so much, and it's like, man, you know, I just need my rent to go down. I don't need to be more efficient. Can we look into my rent? Like, what are we doing? I don't need Skynet. I need to not be paying half of my paycheck in rent. Honestly, FromSoft and Team Ninja should combine forces. Team Ninja does combat and FromSoft does everything else. I don't think so. I think that having more players is better. And I also think, you know, because From Software has sort of forked development of, like, they did Demon Souls, and then Dark Souls and Elden Ring are like Demon Souls, but let's really hone in on world design. And then you have the Bloodborne, Sekiro, Armored Core branch that is like, let's do Demon Souls again, but really focus on expanding combat. And yeah, like that's an interesting way of thinking about it. But yeah, like I don't like these sort of these companies merging and joining forces too much. I think that Team Ninja, if anything, they should move further away from each other and individualize themselves even more. Wishlist for Dark Souls remake. I just re-recorded. I replayed Dark Souls and I recorded it. Also Dark Souls 2, and you know, I was like, man, Elden Ring had a lot of tiny little quality of life changes that I'm like, I kind of want this in Dark Souls. Like rolling around in dirt being different from just walking in it. And like if you roll around in it, then it'll build up even after you're out of it. Like just, and then it's just like hitbox, like collision detection. It's so much better in Elden Ring. And I was like playing Dark Souls and I was like, oh my god, this is so much clunkier. This did come out on the PlayStation 3. I still love that game. Content to show the illusion of context, if you might call it. Yeah, like, but the illusion of context isn't enough. You know, you have to really get it in order for the illusion to work. And, you know, once players start poking around against it, it just sort of collapses. How they're making strides in the field of robotics. I've seen one build a 3D model of the interior of a house from a single image. Think about that for a home robot. Yeah, but like, can you imagine a robot folding your laundry? Like, I'm not saying big leaps in robotics are impossible, but like the way the way robotics are being trained now is just, you know, you have a person in a mocap suit and then you feed that motion sort of into an AI so that it knows kind of how to do it, and then they can sort of replicate the behavior. So like, you know, I would, I don't know. I don't think we're there with robotics. And if we get there, like, we kind of reach a point where we have to ask a question of like, hey, okay, what are the human beings going to do? Now that you've made everybody redundant in order to save money, now you have just these billions of people who need something to do. What are you going to do with them? Because we're not gonna sit out here and starve, brother. Like, you have to find something for these people to do. But yeah, like I don't know. I feel like these advancements in technology, they're always sold as something more impressive than, well, not more impressive, but as like, they're always so like, it's always like this idea of like, oh, the end of scarcity, we finally did it, and now nobody has to work anymore. And I'm like, I don't know. Somebody has to build the robots, don't they? And somebody has to like build the house where they build the robots, and somebody has to clean those floors. And it's like, I didn't mean merging, just a temporary alliance. Do you like Neo 2 combat better than any FromSoft games combat? Huh? I didn't play Neo 2. I played a bit of Neo 1. I don't think Neo 1's combat is better than like Sekiro combat. But I only played it for like a few hours. It didn't click with me right away, so I dropped it. And apparently you can do some wacky things like throw bombs around and such. But yeah, chat. That was State of Play Japan. As it turns out, the Japanese are no better at announcing Bloodborne than the white people are. Which is, that's kind of crazy because Bloodborne is from Japan. Like, this is their thing. If anybody was going to give us Bloodborne, it was going to be the Japanese. So this is really disheartening, especially for me, because I'm a fan of Bloodborne. So it's especially disheartening for me. When robotics can create a true mechanical prosthetic akin to a real body part, I'll believe the robot revolution. Yeah. I'm kind of excited to see that, though. Seeing people be like, hey, I lost my hand in a crazy industrial accident. Can I get a new hand? And then being like, yeah, you actually can. That's going to be awesome. But, yeah. Society. Am I right, Chad? Society. And all of this, like, human beings are being made redundant just as I'm about to release my game and become an indie game billionaire. The Master Miyazaki did it again. You didn't believe enough. I didn't believe enough. I believed more than anyone. What if it was me who didn't believe? I always believed. I have, like, even, I've been betrayed many times, but I always believe. I always come back and I always believe. I come back. I watch State of Play. I see a weird guy with weird hair. I comment on it every single time I do this. And I believe, Chad. And every time it doesn't happen. Maybe if I had have called it State of Play Nippon, it would have worked. They probably saw me write it as Japan, and they were like, this guy, he doesn't know. He doesn't really respect Japanese culture. We're not going to give Bloodborne this time. But that makes me think, since they said this time, that means they probably have it, And they're probably going to do it next time then. Yeah. Probably next time. Bloodborne 2077. Kind of sussy. Did I see Reforged 2.0? I saw someone tweet about it. I didn't watch anything about it. But yeah, I'm gonna... Well, look at this. When accused of not believing enough, provides inconclusive evidence to the contrary. Chat, I believed. I'll prove to you how much I believed. If you check the description of this stream, this very stream, it'll say, we are getting Bloodborne for sure. The Japanese will not fail me. That proves that I believed. But yeah, like, chat, I'm getting tired. I'm gonna get the old battle axe. I've locked her in her room so no noise happens while I'm streaming. I'm gonna get her out of the room and we're gonna watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. Watch that funny Larry David man and his wacky misadventures. Am I right, chat? Thanks everybody for watching. Check out my game in the description if you haven't already. Wishlist it on Steam. Don't have to buy it. Absolutely not begging for money. But if you want to wishlist it, that actually would be really cool because it helps with the algorithm. And thanks to all of you who have wishlisted it already. See you everybody. Bye-bye.